Hi friends, welcome back with me and my 2x4. So, I had a 2x4. I'll put all these little seeds in my pocket real quick to help me carry. And we're gonna go to the garden. If I can get it in my pocket. There we go. And I can't forget the most part of the day. Coffee, because I did not finish it inside yet. So, I'm gonna take the coffee, my 2x4, my seeds. Let's go to the garden so I can show you some things and talk about what I'm about to do in the garden. I haven't told Andrew yet. No, he'll be okay with it, but it's just funny. Look at this beautiful garden. I was trying to get out here yesterday and I was gonna record, but it was so gosh dang windy out here yesterday that like I couldn't hear myself. So there's no way that this camera could hear. So we are out in the garden. Beautiful garden today. And yeah, so let me flip this around and show you what we're gonna do. And we're gonna do something traumatic, but I'm gonna explain it, okay? Just you gotta trust the process sometimes. Okay, so the other day Andrew came out and he pulled all the spinach that was left. We did harvest some from it, but it was not liking this weather. Stick thing. So he took care of that for me. These turnips were looking so great. I was so excited. But I pulled some up and they got a lot of the roots got hit with the stinking vole that's been eating everything. So I think we're gonna be very dramatic today. And we're gonna pull all of these turnips, and I'm low-key sad about it. Oh, so sad, but that's okay. You know, mistakes happen in the garden, and I think that's something that people forget because they idolize some people on the internet, and they're like, "Oh, your garden has to be perfect." Mistakes happen. Things happen all the time. Pests happen. Weather happens. You can't control your environment 100%, unfortunately. And like, so like this one on camera, this looks really nice and good growth, but in person, like, I don't know if you can tell, but that's not going to form the way I need it to. So there's no point to keep this real estate space with something that's not going to produce for my family when we could be planting other things. So we're going to pull all these bad boys up. Yeah, see, I don't know if you can tell all the damage on this one, but that's okay. Things happen. So let's get all these removed. I'm sure the animals are going to love these. So get them removed for the animals. And then I'll show you what I'm going to plant here. You know, now that I'm thinking about this video is definitely not going to go live before the garden tour that comes next. So the garden tour is going to show what I'm doing to this bed. But you're not going to have a full, ouch. I just got stabbed. But you're not going to have a full understanding of what happened in this bed until after. So that's going to be quite interesting. That was definitely poor planning on my part there. That's okay. Yeah, these, shoot. I think the next year, so this is our second growing season at this new property. And I think that next year we need to fence in our garden area. There's way too many pests here. And don't get me wrong, I fully comprehend that fencing it in is not going to stop like every pest. I do understand that. It just blows my mind the amount of pest problems we have here because our last homestead was literally in a forest. And I'm not even exaggerating. We were in the middle of a freaking wooded lot and it was beautiful. Trees everywhere. We had so many animals. We had deers every day on our property. There was rabbits. But with all the animals that we had on our property, nobody ever ate our garden stuff. Like the odd deer would eat like the odd apple from the tree and stuff like that, but that was it. We didn't have like this dramatic rabbit pest problem, even though there was rabbits like crazy there. So it's just crazy to me that like here we're more open, not as many trees. So you would think less pest problems, but really we actually have like more pest problems. Yeah, these radishes look, I mean, turnips look so sad. Makes me sad because I wanted to pickle them for the winter. That's okay. We're gonna try one more time this season. See if we can get some going. Whatever stabbed me, I'm like bleeding now. It's crazy. Okay, so got a bucket of, I'm not gonna dump this to the animals yet because I'm sure I'm gonna have more things for the animals before we're done. That's okay. I'm just gonna quickly work up the soil here. So I guess it's a good thing Andrew left this here. I'm really bad for leaving tools wherever I'm doing things, and it drives Andrew crazy. He was out in the garden for me on the weekend, and he was doing some stuff. He was doing some weeding and maintenance and stuff like that, and he couldn't find certain tools that he wanted. And I'm like, oh, it's probably wherever I used it last, but I don't remember where that was. So it's like a game of hide and go seek with tools every single time, and it's hilarious. I don't think he finds it was funny, but that's okay. That's okay. Okay. I don't have any compost available to use right now. Usually I'd like to amend a bed a little bit before I add something new, but I can't today, and that's okay. Make do with what you got. I'm a firm believer in that, and that's, we're gonna practice what we preach, right? Okay. Okay, if I squint, you have to bear with me. I couldn't find my sunglasses. I wonder if I left them in Andrew's truck. Okay, so we're gonna do some projects today out here. I'll plant a bunch of different things. Right now it is June, I think today's June 17th. June 17th. So I have turnips so that we can do another row of that. Ooh, we're not gonna sit those there. They're gonna blow away. Put them there. Somebody gave me these rover radishes. I've never grown rover radishes. It's almost a full pack, but someone local gave me the pack because they didn't like them. They just don't like growing radishes in the summer, which I usually traditionally don't do either. And we're getting ready to start summer next week. We usually grow them in spring and then again in the fall time, and we fresh eat them, and then I pickle some. So apparently these are really good summer variety of radishes, and Andrew loves radishes. So I thought, you know what? They were given to us anyway. Why not? Let's tuck some radish seeds in some places. Early and later to bolt than other varieties, matures in 21 days. It seems very similar to all the other radishes I grow. I'm a huge fan of the Easter egg blend, personally, but like I said, that's like spring and fall. And then what else we got in my pocket? Little containers of seeds, because I save my own seeds, which you will see. I have a new series starting. Yeah, I'm going to plug myself in here, but I have a new series that started, and every Wednesday during growing season, I'm going to show you how to save some seeds from your garden. And it's going to be, I would like to focus mostly on like vegetables, but there are going to be some flower ones in there because there are some flower companion plants that we do in our vegetable garden. But don't worry, I'm not a big flower grower. I legit grow wildflowers. So we're not going to get into fancy flower seed saving. Anyway, I have some butternut squash, assorted gourd, spaghetti squash. Andrew loves spaghetti squash. And carrots. So I have an idea for the carrots, and you're going to have to follow along with my trail of thought with this one after. We weren't going to grow any squash this year because like we don't really have the space for it this year, like set up, and I don't really, it's not in the budget to add a whole bunch more space for it. I wish it was, but maybe next year. So we weren't going to grow any. And then I got thinking to myself, you know what? There's so many people that I see that vertical grow pumpkins and squash. So I'm going to try it. I'm going to try it. We're going to see what happens. What's the worst that's going to happen? It's going to be a fail? That's okay. We're going to give it a shot. So I have a spaghetti, a butternut, and an assorted gourd. And I'm going to do what people tell you not to do because I like to rebel garden. I'm going to plant them beside each other. I know a lot of people say, you know, they'll cross-pollinate, these specific ones, I don't really care if they cross-pollinate. We've had them cross-pollinate before, and it really didn't make that big of a difference, in my opinion. Do what works for you, do what works for your garden. But that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to work with this one bed, and I think it's like the one I just pulled the turnips from. I think it's like, what, 6 feet by 2 feet maybe? I think it's 6 feet by 2 feet, something like that. So that's what I'm going to work with, and I'm thinking, let me flip this around and show you, and then I'll talk as I'm like describing. Okay, so do you see how it's like right beside the onion and garlic bed? Like the onion and garlic bed's right there, and then we're working in this bed. I think I'll have Andrew, like we have time, so I don't have to do it right now. I can get the seeds planted, but I think I'm gonna have Andrew do some sort of a trellis to go over there. And then that way we can grow them over, and then it gives more space in this garden bed to put other items. I think that's what I'm thinking. Because by the time the squash gets big enough to grow over the trellis to the other side, essentially the onions and garlic should be harvested already. So that's where my brain is going with this theory. So we're going to try it and see what happens, okay? And then with that theory as well, I'm not going to plant lots of these, obviously. I will probably 2, 4, 6. Yeah, I'll probably do 2 of each of these. So I'll do 2 spaghetti squash, 2 assorted gourds, and 2 butternut squash. That will not be enough squash. So the assorted gourds is just for fun. Fun fact, if you don't know this about me, is that if I could have any career in the entire world, I would grow gourds. I would specialize in growing gourds. There's enough of that in our area, so that's not something I could specialize in, but I love growing squash and gourds. It's honestly my favorite thing in this whole world. It just blows my mind that like one little seed, one little itty bitty seed can produce so much. Like it's just, I love gourds so much. Anyway, so the assorted gourds are just like decoration for the fall time. And then my animals will eat it as well. And then obviously the butternut squash and the spaghetti squash will store away for the winter time. We do that every year. So I'm only going to do, like I said, 2 of each, which I should get like, I don't know, maybe 6 to 10 squash from each plant generally, as long as they're taken care of. I've never trellised them before, but I see people do it all the time. So we're going to give it a go and hopefully we can get a decent amount. Yeah, so let's go ahead and get some squash planted. The problem when you garden with a family is that things go other places. So like I said, I leave tools where I use them last. It's a bad habit of mine. I understand that. But I had an old bamboo stick that I used to dig holes for this because then I didn't have to bend down. I have a bad hip. I know. I'm about to be 34 in 2 weeks and I already have a bad hip. So bending down, up and down is not good for me. Okay, looks like somebody took it. Cool. It's okay, we're going to, I guess we're just going to bend down. My gosh. Okay, assorted gourd. 2, 3. Okay, we're going to plant 3 seeds per hill, per hole, whatever you want to call it. I have always done 2 or 3 per thing. I just, best chance for germinating. I will say, especially because I do save my own seeds, that sometimes, just sometimes, the germination rate isn't as, great. So I'd like to give it a better chance. Okay, so we have sorted gourds done. Let's do some spaghetti. Oh, they don't want to come out of this container. I got these containers at the dollar store because I seen they were highly recommended, and I'm gonna tell you right now, don't buy them. I actually strongly dislike these for seed storing. I haven't figured out how my favorite way to seed store is yet. I've tried so many different methods that people recommend and do. I don't know, I just haven't found one that works for me yet. In the way that my brain works. If that makes any sense to you. Okay, and we got right here, we'll do the other ones. Okay. I want to kind of half-ass mark where I'm planting them so I can come back and water them. Okay, next up is butternut, my favorite. We actually, I don't know if a lot of people know this fact, but we use butternut squash. I keep a lot of it on shelves in our pantry for the winter, but I also can a lot of it. So fun fact about butternut squash is that you can actually interchange it for pumpkin. So when we make pumpkin pies during the winter time, I have just not found a variety of pumpkin that stores really well for us here. And that, that happens. But I find that butternut squash can store really well here, or I can can it, one or the other. And so we'll use that for pumpkins during the winter season, for pumpkin pies. Nobody notices the difference unless we tell them, and then they're like, oh, really? You couldn't tell. Exactly. So butternut squash is a good one to have because it is a great side dish, but it's also great for, you know, swapping out for pumpkins. But like I said, if you can store pumpkins, it's great. They're really big. They're odd to store. I struggle to store them, so this is just easier for us. Okay, we're gonna try turnips in this bed again, but on this side where the spinach was. See if I can get these bad boys to do better now. So let's just I also am not very good at making straight lines. So that's how you can tell if I'm the one that was in our garden. Everyone knows that if I'm the one that plants our stuff, it's not straight lines. And that's okay. You know, it used to bother me, and it used to bother Andrew. So he used to always like measure out my lines nice and perfect. But then it's like you get to a point where you're just like, whatever, you're growing food, who cares? I think that if I were taking up valuable space, I would like care more, but I'm usually not. So, okay, let's cover that up. Okay, so we got turnips and squash planted. How exciting, how exciting. I just had a thought. We're going to, oh gosh, we're gonna plant some radishes here in the middle. Because let's be honest, they're gonna be ready to go before anything gets dramatic. And like I've said before, and I will always say when gardening, utilize every space that you can. Ah, sugar shack. The wind totally just knocked some seeds out. Okay. That's okay. That's okay. We're just gonna have radishes pop up in other places. That's actually so funny. Just gonna stick real quick. That seems like a totally like Darien thing to happen too. Have you ever grown Grover radishes? Do you like them? Where are these from? I think these are from Vessie's, yeah, Vessie's. Which I like seeds from Vessie's. We've bought them from Vessie's tons of times over the years. So they usually have good quality seeds. Okay, so this bed is completely replanted now. So I should probably drag the hose over. Andrew set me up one of these fancy doodads. We have 4, and they go to each parts of the property, which is fantastic. So this one is for my garden. He would love to run a line one day, but last year we ran hydro to our shop. And it was a very big disaster with the township, the hydro company, gas company. I think it kind of traumatized us from running anything. But always give a good water when you plant seeds. Common mistake is people don't keep their seeds, don't water them, and then they dry out too much, so they won't germinate at all. Like, you don't want them too wet, and like the sun's out, and this is not mulch, so I'm not going to go crazy right now, but I'm just going to get some water, and then tonight when I do a watering, I'll make sure to check on that, water it more if I have to. Okay, so this garden, this little bed, I'm hoping my plywood will work for what I'm thinking. It'll half work. That's okay. We'll just do it to what it works. Pull this quick weed out. Well, there's a couple weeds in here. Let's quickly get these pulled. So my plan is, this bed has, over here, there's 2 zucchinis and 1 cucumber plant. And then this end, I have a couple marigolds. And then on the other side, I have a couple pepper plants. So my plan is for the middle, I'm gonna use this plywood. We're gonna just see if we can get some more carrots going. The plywood method worked really well for our other carrot patch. So I just want to see if I can do it again. Can I get in between this, or did Andrew tie it together? This ground's wet from watering already. I have to go to the other side to fully get it, but that's okay. So this method of carrots is you sprinkle your seeds down and then lightly cover the soil, but then you put the 2x or a piece of wood on, and it helps like germinate the carrot seeds. And I was like, that's so strange, that's not gonna work. Oh my gosh, did it ever stinking work? We have not been able to germinate carrots ever, and I've been so sad about it because like our house eats a lot of carrots. So if that's something I can grow, obviously I want to, you know what I mean? And so it's been frustrating for years that I haven't been able to do it. So then I tried this a few weeks back when I started the other bed, and it worked so well. I was actually like in awe with how well it worked. So I thought, you know what? I have some space in between here. I feel like it's going to be wasted space. And, you know, as a family of 5 who eat a lot of food from scratch and grow, like, you know, can and preserve everything, I'm not about to, like, waste some real estate space. There we go. So I got carrots planted. Oh, this pepper plant didn't do well. Andrew said it looked rough the other day. It's okay. Still got 2 pepper plants. But if you recall, I've talked before about how I don't really grow a lot of peppers. We grow a few just for fun. Okay, I'm pretty excited about the progress today. So this bed, we have our squashes, gourds, in the middle radishes, and then the side turnips. Let's hope that does well. I'll have Andrew trellis that later. Got some carrots in the middle of the zucchini and stuff like that, so that's exciting. I think I'm gonna pull this arugula because, as you can tell, it's like fighting for its life. I've never seen arugula be so sad. So, oh, this one's already bolting. That's actually, I might let that bolt for the seeds, but I might pull the arugula, but I'm gonna wait and see what I want to plant along the edges first. You can plant lots of things along your beans. So I'm gonna think about that first. And then over here, I also have some open space. So these are our sweet potatoes, but they're like recently planted, so, you know, they're not doing a whole lot right now. So I could essentially tuck something along the sides. I just don't know what I want to tuck yet. So I'm gonna think about that. And then over here in the tomato bed, I also have some space I could tuck some stuff in. So I don't know, maybe it'll be another day. Figure it out. Anyway, friends, thanks so much for watching and following along with my let's rip up stuff from my garden and plant random stuff without telling my husband series. Oh gosh, that's so funny. No, just so we're clear, he won't care. As long as I make sure to tell him that he's gonna have the trellis, because if I wait last minute and be like, oh, by the way, we have the trellis, he'll get very frustrated. But I definitely won't wait last minute. And my garlic's looking like it's ready to harvest soon, but you'll see that in the garden tour video that will actually go live before this video. But anyway, friends, thank you so much for coming along with me today. Subscribe if you are into homesteading content here in Southern Ontario, or if you're into dairy goats, because we share that too. And I'm going to start sharing a lot more about my dairy goats. It seems to be a very popular topic lately. So thanks so much for watching, guys. Until next time, bye.